Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Lily Reed. It is the start of a December vlog. I have all of my Christmas stuff out. I go all out for Christmas because my man grew up in a house that had his mom used to do really elaborate Christmas decorations. I'm not even a Christian, and so I just like to go all out for him so it feels like he has a sense of home. I don't know, I'm really sentimental in that way. I am the type of person where if you can do things for your partner that brings them joy, that just doesn't take much out of you, that you would enjoy, I do it. And I enjoy decorating, and he always enjoys when I do the house up. And so he said it reminds him of his mom. His mom picks a different theme every single year and does all the lights around the house and everything. She goes all out, and that's how he grew up seeing. And so just because I don't really celebrate Christmas, it's not a reason for him not to have all the stuff he grew up with. So I enjoy doing it. Anyways, let's get into it. It's a library vlog. I do this thing where I go to the library maybe once every 3 weeks and I check out a bunch of books. Sometimes I read them, most of the time I don't, and I end up having to return them. But I am going to do a library vlog because the haul I got at the library, I want to read all of these books. I have waited for all of these books to become available, and I want to read them. So let's just get on in. I have a new library tote. My mom purchased me this Coach bag, and so I have a new library tote to lug to the library. Anyways, River Sing Me Home. I think I almost purchased this book when this book came out. Then I saw it was available at my library and was like, I'm gonna read it. And I never went to go read it. So River Sing Me Home is a book we are going to read in this video. The next book that we have is Riley Sager. I do not want to buy any Riley Sager books unless I know that they are going to be good. But the thing about this book is, I love this cover. This cover is one of my favorite covers of the year. I want to own this book so bad, but I have a deal with myself. I cannot just flat out buy Riley Sager's. The only Riley Sager book I have enjoyed is Final Girls. I thought I gave that 3.54 stars. Did not like Lock Every Door. Did not like Survive the Night. So therefore, I gotta read it, see if I like it, and then I will have this beautiful cover in my home. I love this cover. Something about it is so retro. Oh, I love it. I love the color palette, everything. The book I am most excited to read, S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed. This book has been on most of the best of books of 2023. I think it made Times. I think it made New York. I think every single best of this book has been on it. And I enjoyed Razorblade Tears. A lot of people didn't. I did. And so I am excited to read All the Sinners Bleed because I think S.A. Cosby is a brilliant writer, and I am so excited to get into this. The next book, yeah, we're going to read 4, is Look Closer. Now, here is the thing. I actually have this book out on loan from the library on audio, and because it is a lot longer than I expected to be, this might be our audio pick of this video. I, for some reason, have been in this thing where one of the books every single time we read together is going to be an audio pick, and because I also have this from the library in audio, I don't see why I can't read it on audio. So we will see, but I'm excited for this one too. And these are the 4 books that I picked up. I do not know where I'm going to begin with these books, but I'm going to figure it out and we're going to get on into it. If you see back there, I have my coffee and my candy cane cup, and somewhere over there is my croissants. It's a croissant week. I'm about to eat because I'm starving, but I will come back to you guys when I do start reading, okay? Peace. Hello, you guys. I'm here to give you guys some initial updates on Look Closer by David Ellis. I have not been in the mood to physically read. I don't know, I've just been tired. It gets dark so early and I've just been cold and tired and kind of getting headaches for some reason. I just have not been in the mood to physically read. It's one of those things where I just gotta jump on the horse. Once I jump on the horse and knock out 100 pages, I'll be back into it. I was gonna read S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed. That's what I wanted to be my first book, but I decided to just pick up an audiobook just to get started on this vlog so I have something to discuss with you guys. And I have the book Look Closer to discuss with you guys. My first critique of this book is the length. This book is almost 500 pages long, which is absolutely crazy for a domestic thriller. Like, it just does not need to be this long of a book. So I'm already taking points off right there because it shouldn't be that long, especially because already listening to the audiobook, I'm already kind of like, oh, here we go. Like, we're getting a lot of scenes, we're getting a lot of POVs, and I'm just like, surely some stuff could have been edited out. I don't know. But let me tell you what this book is about. In this book, we are following a married couple named Simon and Vicky. Simon works at a law school. He's a professor at a law school. Vicky works in social services. They are a rich couple. Simon's family comes from money. Obviously, he has a good job, so they are well off. Well, both of these people are keeping secrets from one another. Vicky is very interested in Simon's money, and Simon is having an affair on the side. When this story first begins, we are met with a woman who has died. A woman named Lauren has been killed, and we're trying to figure out how does all this play into Simon and Vicky's life. We do know how Simon knows Lauren, but we don't know how all of this stuff comes together. What's the story? We do have a detective storyline, which is Jane. We have some letters in here, and that's pretty much our book. A married couple, both keeping secrets from each other, both seem to be leading secret lives, and it's like a cat and mouse game. Who's trying to get over on who? So far, it's fine to me. Like, here's the thing. Books like this always leave me conflicted because I am sure that this book is going to have all types of twists and all types of turns, and I'm gonna be gagged at some of the reveals. That's just the nature of this type of book. The problem is I sometimes feel like books like this are leading up to the twist, are leading up to the bait and switch. Therefore, you're just waiting for it, and in the meantime, you're just getting a story you know is gonna get flipped on its head. Does that make sense? Like, I know that something about this story is not what meets the eye. Therefore, as I'm listening to this story, I'm like looking to see if I can catch what's not meeting the eye. I'm trying to see who's telling the truth. I'm trying to see who's doing what. And sometimes I'm in the mood for that, but other times when it comes to thrillers, I'm kind of in the mood to just be dropped into the lives of some really, really interesting people and to see what's going on in their life. And then through that, I get twists and turns, and that's not this book. I do not necessarily find what these characters are going through. Simon and his affair, this woman who he used to know and meeting back up with her, and Vicky and her trying to get Simon's money. I don't necessarily find that all that interesting. This woman who is dead, I don't really find that all that compelling. Like, who killed her? I don't know this lady. I don't really all that much care. And then the detective storyline is my favorite storyline because you guys know I love me a good detective storyline. And once again, it's delivering. I love the detective storyline, but everything else in between, I'm just kind of like, oh, here we go. Like, I really don't care for Vicky's storyline. Vicky's storyline just seems ludicrous. Like, it doesn't even seem plausible. So far, I think it's fine. Like, I sound worse about it than I really feel just because, like, I'm not feeling too hot right now. But it's fine. Like, I'm gonna finish it. It's not on DNF alert because these are library books. I have no problem DNFing these books because I can take them right back to where the hell they came from if I don't want to read them. But no, we're nowhere close to a DNF alert. I just kind of got to get more into it, and I have a long ways to go. But luckily, I'm going on a road trip tomorrow. So therefore, I should be able to honestly finish it. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to finish this book and come back and talk to you guys a little bit later, hopefully with better reading updates, probably in the morning. I'll probably try to come talk to you guys in the morning or while I'm in the car. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. You guys, I have to be honest with you. I have not read in 2 days. Like, I've read a little bit more of Look Closer. I'm still not enjoying Look Closer the way I feel like I'm supposed to be enjoying Look Closer. That has kind of summed up my reading year. I feel like the books I'm supposed to like, I haven't liked this year, and the books I'm not supposed to like, I have enjoyed this year. But yeah, I'm still not vibing with Look Closer, and it's kind of putting me in a reading slump. And I don't want to be in a reading slump because the next 3 books in this video I do want to read. So I just want to come and give an update. This video is going to be late to you. You guys don't know I don't really have no real upload schedule. So you're like, late to what? But for me, this video is going to be late because Look Closer, it's been hard for me to get through. And mind you, I'm reading it on audio. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should make a... Hello, you guys. I am here to give my final updates on Look Closer by David Ellis. How do I begin? I want to start by saying this book is too long. I just want to start. I want to get it out the way. So, you know, this book is entirely 100 pages too long. I think this book falls in love with its own plot. It falls in love with its own plot twist, and it just wants to stay with you for so long. But like, let me go. Let me go. I get what you're trying to do. Get me out of here. So that's first and foremost. I'm taking out a star because this book is just entirely too long and it overstays its welcome. Number 2. This book, I think, suffers from, I know there's a plot twist. The Other Black Girl is another book that heavily suffers from this too. But every now and then you are reading the book The Maid, I think, does the same thing as well. Every now and then you are reading a thriller or a mystery, and you're aware that everything going on is a bit too boring. Therefore, there has to be something that I'm missing. Something has to be going on that I'm not fully aware of. So if you're like me, you begin spending the entire book trying to figure out what's the thing that you're missing instead of enjoying the book. That's this book, because I find everything that's going on in the first 50% of this book to be so boring, So I know that this book just can't be boring as shit. There has to be something going on. There's a plot twist that I am not aware of. And so my biggest issue with this book is that this book is long and boring. This book is long and boring until you get to the plot twist of the book. Another thing, this is a personal thing. This book uses a plot device that I have read in a book before, and I was more gagged in the book that I read it in before this year. So that's no points against this book. It's just the timing of when I read this book. If I would have read this book first, I probably would have been more gagged. But it uses a plot device that I've seen in a book earlier this year. So I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't guess it, but I knew it was kind of going along those lines. So there's that. And then another thing that this book does that I do not enjoy, I love detective storylines. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to stand by detective storylines till I'm blue in the face. I love detective storylines. The detective in this book is too clever. The detective in this book is too clever. What's interesting about detective storylines is you're getting into the mind of someone who is trying to solve a murder or a mystery, and they keep running into dead ends because it's a cat and mouse game. And so they keep trying to find things that will help them solve the case. This detective just be finding out shit. She just knows shit. She just knows shit. She knows where to look. She knows how to find this stuff. And that's not fun when it comes to the detective segment of the book. I want to believe that our detective, of course, is a professional and smart, but I don't want them to be too clever. This detective is just a bit too clever. They see things that other people don't see, and it's a little unrealistic. But I did enjoy the detective element of this book. I think it's the strongest element of this book, but I just love detective. But overall, it's enjoyable. 3.5. 3.5. 3.5. I do not think I need to go get my own copy. I was hoping I would like it, and it's a book I would want to see on my bookshelf, but it is not. If you want to know, you guys, why these books are always here, why I have these books up here, you probably don't give a shit. I am reorganizing my bookshelf. I am reorganizing my bookshelf for 2024. Can't believe I'm saying 2024. 2024, I'm moving a whole shelf to another shelf, moving shelves down. So I'm taking things off that I don't want to get lost in the sauce. And so, like, basically my bookshelf is going under a major overhaul. I'm going to actually organize my bookshelf at the end of the year, though. Once I need to go ahead and begin taking things down for my end of the year videos, best, worst, disappointing, surprising, unhaul, all of that, all the books that I've read, superlatives, and then I can just start putting things back, because I do want to put everything back on the shelf and clear off my mantle. Anyways, next book. Next book up is S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed. I will be physically reading this book. I think I'm about to get into it right now while I'm waiting for me some food to be delivered. But anyways, yeah, enjoyable. Not as enjoyable, I think, as other people found it. It's that on that. I will see you guys later. Hello, you guys. I am here to give initial updates on S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed. I am on page 100 of this book, so I'm not very far, but I think I'm far enough to give a synopsis on this book. So in this book, we are in this small town, and we are following a character named Titus. He is the sheriff of this town. He just became sheriff. He won the sheriff's election in a kind of controversial race. He was up against this white guy who was powerful, who had a lot of backing, but he did win. And basically this town is kind of built on a lot of like tragedy like black violence type of tragedy and stuff like that. Bad things have always happened in this town because of racial alliances. And so we get into this town where things haven't really been going bad lately. There's not really any crime that goes on. Titus is the sheriff, but don't nothing really be happening until one day. One day he gets a call and somebody has shut up the school, baby. There is a school shooting at the local high school. He goes to the high school and he realizes that a former student who is the son of a boy he knows has just shot a school teacher. He comes out of the school and he's like, there's something in the cell phones, the devil, this is devil's work, y'all gonna know, whatever. He just starts, talking in soliloquies. And Titus is like, this is weird. So Titus is trying to get more information from the boy. But before the boy can drop his weapon and surrender, one of the cops shoots the boy dead. And that kind of begins our story. Why did he shoot the school teacher? What was he talking about? Does the school teacher have secrets? Does this boy have secrets? Does this town have secrets? Titus is going to find out, I think. Okay, I want to start by saying S.A. Cosby. I love S.A. Cosby's writing because I don't read a lot of books from the perspective of S.A. Cosby. S.A. Cosby is a black, I think he's Southern. He's like, his books seem Southern. Like, he is a black, older Southern man, it seems. Watch this nigga from New York. But he has such a specific narrative voice that I really, really like. His prose is so unique to him. If you gave me 20 writing passages, and one of them was written by S.A. Cosby, I would know which one is written by S.A. Cosby. There's something so authentic about the way S.A. Cosby writes that I really, really enjoy. It's very grounded, but it also has excellent prose, there's a lot of education behind it. I love the way S.A. Cosby writes, so whenever I get into an S.A. Cosby book, I'm in it. And this book is no different. I'm here. I want to know what's going on in this town. I usually don't like books that are dealing with this type of specific subject when it comes to like what might be going on. I do not like this idea of like, I don't want to spoil it. But this book is doing something. It's using a narrative trope that I usually do not like, but I'm in it here because S.A. Cosby seems to have grounded it a little bit. I'm enjoying this book. I can't say too much on it. I'm only 100 pages in, but I'm enjoying S.A. Cosby. The thing about this type of book is this is specifically the type of book I think like booktubers and TikTokers do not like. They do not like this type of story, but it's the reason why I can't take a lot of recommendations too serious, because this is more of my type of book, I think booktube and TikTok like hijinks. They like hijinks, they like spectacle, they like scandal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes I do just want to read a book that's kind of like well written, specific, has interesting things to say about life and different things that we deal with in society, but it's not gonna be too all over the place, too crazy, you know. And this is your mom and dad's type book, if that makes sense. S.A. Cosby writes your mom and dad type books, and that's not really what people like on social media. I do like them sometimes, especially when they're done by Black people. So I'm gonna keep reading this, and I'm going to talk to you guys later, probably when I finish it. Honestly, I'll see you guys later. Peace. Hello, you guys. I am here to give my final updates on S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed. I finished this last night. This book is a cross between True Detective, the original season of True Detective, and Watchmen. I always say things are connected to Watchmen, and that's because I think they are. It's really a mix of both of those two things. There are things that I appreciate about this book. The main character in this book, Titus, I thought to be a really interesting main character. He had demons, he had skeletons in his closet, and you felt those through all of his dialogue. You felt all of his history. Titus was just a really well-written main character, but my issue with this book is that I just never felt like it was never just all that compelling to me because I knew the trope it was playing with. I usually don't like this trope. This book did not evade that. I do not like this type of trope. I do not like these types of like mysteries. So I couldn't fully sink my teeth into it because it just wasn't my thing. But everything else this book was doing, I did find interesting. Outside of Titus, I did not like any of the characters, though. Any of the characters that were on the board, I did not find all that interesting, so I don't think they're fleshed out well. But I did like this idea of the town, and this town that so many bad things happened in the past, and that past coming back to haunt them. I did like that idea. So overall, we have another 3.5 from this author, because I think I gave Razor Blade Tears a 3.5 too. So another 3.5 from this author, this book, and for this video. Let's move on to The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I think this book takes place in the past. Like, this book takes place in like the 80s maybe. I don't know, maybe. I'm excited to get to this book. Like I said, this is my favorite cover of the year. And so I really want to enjoy this book because I want to own a copy of this book. I don't think it'll be necessary for me to get a copy of S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed, or Don't Look Closer, or something like that. If I could get S.A. Cosby on discount next year, that's when I might pick it up because yeah, but I'm not in a rush to do it. But I do want a copy of this book because I love this cover so much. I don't know why, but this cover speaks to me. But when it comes to Riley Sager should just be lucky I'm reading this book because I actually made a vow to myself not to read any more Riley Sager because I just have not enjoyed Riley Sager books. Final Girls is like my favorite of the Riley Sagers, but anything since I do not like Lock Every Door, and everyone loves that book. I think that book is terrible. Survive the Night, we know how that go. And then Final Girls was fine. So like, this is my fourth book from you. Come on. I do own Home Before Dark. Is that the other Riley Sager book? And why do I think I own another Riley Sager book too? I think, oh, The House Across the Lake. I own both of those books. I got them on discount. So like, it's not, I just haven't gotten to them because I'm just like, no, Riley Sager, you have done me wrong. But I'm going to read this book, see if I like it. If I don't like it, I'm unhauling the other two Riley Sager books that I own. And then I won't buy a copy of this. Anyways, how are you guys doing? I'm doing well. I'm trying to wrap this video up. This video has gone on longer than it should because I haven't been in a reading mood. And this is just not the month to not be in a reading mood because this is like, what is did is done. if the books I don't get to this month just won't be gotten to in 2023. And there's so many books I told myself I would get to in 2023 that I need to get to. So I need to get back into the reading group. So hopefully today I can come with some initial thoughts on The Only One Left. Okay? I will talk to you guys later. Hello, you guys. I am here to give initial updates on Riley Sager's The Only One Left. The reason why I laugh when I say initial updates is because, y'all, I'm almost done with this book. I am almost done with this book. So in this book, we are following a woman, I believe in the 1980s. I could have made that up. But yeah, it's 1983, and basically she is an in-home care nurse. Like, she's not an actual registered nurse. They take a training, and then she's an in-home care assistant. But she got let go from her job because there was a mysterious death surrounding one of her patients, and so it kind of made her lose her job. We don't really know everything that happened with that, and so she is back on the job, and they give her this older woman who cannot really do anything for herself. The only thing she can really move is her left arm, and she is going to go take care of her. So she goes to this house, and she's a little sketched out because there was always this like song people in the community used to sing about this lady, about how she killed everyone in her family. Both her parents and her sister were murdered. This lady who needs care back in the 1920s. And so she's just like, if that's true, I really don't want nothing to do with this, but I need a job, so I'm gonna take a job. So when she goes there, she starts noticing weird things happening. She is the direct care person for this woman who they claim kills her entire family. And through that, she starts to learn things about this woman. We go back in time and hear about the story of this woman. She's telling us a story, the woman who needs the care, the older woman. She's telling us what happened back in these days that would lead to the death of her family. And that's pretty much the story of what's going on. Ooh, me and Riley Sager just are not one. Like, I think I'm just gonna stop trying. Like, I am not enjoying this book. I find this book to be deeply boring. I am sure there is a plot twist that I am not seeing coming, that maybe is why everyone enjoys this book. But thus far, I don't like it. It's really boring. I really don't like this like type of trope. The trope of like the woman who can't do something, like she's like not able to use her body, and like, but can she? Is she telling the truth? You know, the older person who might be lying, the person who is disabled that might not be telling the truth. I really don't enjoy that trope that's being used here, even if it's not the case. I just don't enjoy that trope at all. And so I'm just not, haunted houses. This also plays on the haunted house. Oh, the isolation trope. I do not like. It's using a bunch of tropes I always come and tell you guys I do not like. So this is not Riley Sager's fault why I'm not liking this. I don't like haunted house stories. I don't like isolation stories. I don't like person is disabled, they couldn't have done something story. And I think I also, this might be something I need to put in my brain, I think I also don't enjoy my whole family died, somebody close to me died, people think I did it, but did I do it? I usually also don't enjoy that trope. Like, everything about this trope that is supposed to like make me excited doesn't excite me. Like, I just get bored. And so I'm bored with this book. The cover still eats though. So if I really am duped by this book and it really makes up for it, I'm going to give this book 4 stars, and I'm getting my goddamn physical copy. But as it is, I'm happy I read this from the library because I'm not enjoying it. I kept like trying to make myself enjoy it because so many people have enjoyed it this year. But like, in the words of the greats, I ain't gagged. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later when I finish this book, and then we will move on to another book because I've made an executive decision. I'll just tell you now, we're not reading River Sing Me Home. We're going to read the other book I got from the library because I do not want to read River Sing Me Home. I just don't want to, okay? So I am going to read the other book that I got from the library. I'll see you guys later. Hello, you guys. I have finished Riley Sager's The Only One Left. I'm not gagged. I'm done with Riley Sager. Riley Sager, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but an offensive way is the only way this could be taken. Riley Sager, to me, is such a bullshitter. Like, have you ever watched a show or a movie that everyone says is good? And if you turn off your mind, you could also see it's good. But if you turn on your mind, you realize you're being fed bullshit. That is what reading a Riley Sager book is to me. If I just let the book be, I can be like, okay, I see why people like this book. But I see that it's bullshit. Like, Riley Sager is just coming up with these ridiculous stories. They're not necessarily well written. The characters are definitely not good. All the Riley Sager books. Get all of them. Tell me the name of a single character in a Riley Sager book without looking. You can't. Tell me what a single character does in a Riley Sager book, like career-wise. You can't. These characters come into your mind and leave just as quickly. The settings come into your mind and leave just as quickly. The plot comes into your mind and leaves just as quickly. It is so hard after you finish a Riley Sager book to really remember the details of a Riley Sager book because they're nothingness. They're not well done. And I feel like I'm the only person who is saying this. His books are just not well written. They're not well done. The characters are not good. And the plots are ridiculous. This plot, it's like, this book particularly, it's like Riley Sager came up with an idea that has been done before. And then he's like, okay, what can I throw at people to like make it more exciting? And so he just keeps throwing plot twists, just in case you guessed the plot twist before. He'll throw another plot twist so you can't guess this one, and if you guess that one because you're so smart, he's gonna throw another one at you. And just when you think you're done, he throws one more at you and he just wants you to leave shocked instead of this being an overall good book. Once again, I'm left wondering, why is this book getting good reviews? Because it's messy. Because people love plot twists. I am not a plot twist thriller reader. I am not. I think plot twists should be earned. I think moments where I am gooped and gagged should be earned. You should build up to something and then I'm like, whoa, that was good. But just like Don't Look Closer and this book, I do not feel the random plot twists are necessarily earned. I just feel like they're in there, and if you turn your brain off, you could take them at face value. But if you don't turn your brain off, you're left with like, you just bullshitting me, Riley Sager. And that's the worst way to feel when I'm watching a TV show, a movie, or a book. Feeling like someone is just bullshitting me. Someone just wants me to believe that this is good, and they haven't put in the time to actually make something that is good. They're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at me, hoping it distracts me from everything else that just don't make no sense. If this is a quick spoiler, if you read this book, the father, how the fuck does the father become, he's for the past 5 decades, he's the biggest fucking villain in the world. And then in this book, when we meet him in this book, he just has a change of fucking heart. That don't make no sense. That doesn't make any sense. Kit, the character Kit in this, the main character, goes through so much life just oblivious to everything going on around her. She ends up in terrible circumstances. She gets to this house and all of a sudden she's Sherlock Holmes. She's putting 2 and 2 together. This person did. Huh? These characters do whatever they need to do in each scene, and there's no real rhyme or no real reason for why they do the things they do. Everyone's motives are weak as shit. The characters are weak as shit. They're stock thriller characters. This is not well done. I'm sorry. Sorry to be pretentious. Sorry to be snobby, but somebody has to do it. This book is a 3 out of 5 star book. It gets 3 stars because like the ending is enjoyable just to see how much mess Riley Sager is about to throw at you. But more than that, I ain't got it. This video is such a flop, and it's a shame I'm giving that book 3 stars because I think Look Closer and especially All the Sinners Bleed are way better done, especially All the Sinners Bleed. And the fact that I gave All the Sinners Bleed 3.5 is like crazy because I just think All the Sinners Bleed is just way more thoughtfully done than The Only One Left. So I'm done with Riley Sager. I have 2 Riley Sager books I haven't read, Home Before Dark and The Woman Across the Lake, or The Apartment Across the Lake, whatever that's called, A House Across the Lake. 2 books I own, haven't read.
I'm unhauling it. I'm done with Riley Sager. I just do not think Riley Sager is a strong writer. And it's so funny because literally this time last year, I tweeted, no shade, Riley Sager. Riley Sager, do not watch this. I'm sure you're a perfectly kind man. I said, somebody got to take the keyboard away from Riley Sager. I literally said it, and still I fall for the trap of reading another Riley Sager book. Thank God I read it from the library, and I can just return this, even though this cover is so good. I love this cover. He ate that one little thing. But no. No, I don't see how you guys are so easily impressed. Not to be that person, because there's plenty of things I'm easily impressed by, but I don't see how y'all easily impressed by this. So anyways, the next book we're going to read is called Clover Something of Regrets, because we're not reading River Sing Me Home like I said before. We're going to read the Clover book, and then we're going to wrap it up. So I'll come with my initial thoughts on that book a little later, and I will see you guys later. Peace.
Hello, you guys. Oh, we got the little Christmas trees to the side. So cute, so cute. Anyways, I am here to come discuss with you guys the collected regrets of Clover. So in this book, we are following a main character named Clover. She's in her 30s and she is a death doula. Basically, if someone is dying and their loved ones, or they don't have any loved ones, but someone needs to be by their side while they're dying because the loved ones can't be by their side or they don't have any, she comes in and she basically helps them die. She asks them questions about their life. She talks to them. They talk to her. And she just makes the dying process as easy as possible for these people. Well, Clover is starting to look into her life and she realizes that she's really lonely. She lived with her grandfather, but her grandfather died about 12 years ago. Her parents died when she was 6 years old, and her only real friend is an 87-year-old man who lives in the same apartment building as her. And so she's looking around, she's constantly looking for company. So she goes to these death cafes. This person created this thing called death cafes in New York City where you meet up and you basically talk about death. You come together and you ask questions about death. You talk about people in your family who's dying. And at this death cafe, she has met a guy named Sebastian. This guy named Sebastian keeps kind of like following her around. And one day he calls her and he's like, hey, I want you to be the death doula of my mother. And she's just like, or maybe his grandmother. And she's just like, I guess. And that kind of starts where we are in our story. I am on page 100 of this story, and I gotta tell you guys, this is great. I am having such an amazing time reading this book. This book is so I hate to say it, but there's moments that in the 100 pages I've read, I wanted to cry. When she's talking about her relationship to her grandfather, so her mother died, and this is her mother's father. And how he took her in and took care of her, and how they went to the bookstore every single week and she got to pick a book, and he kind of taught her the ropes, and her finding community with this guy. And even though he was grieving the loss of his daughter, he took in his granddaughter and gave her a whole new life. He showed her New York City and taught her so many things. This author is doing such a good job at conveying that relationship, that grandfather-granddaughter relationship that this book has, and her grandfather pretty much becoming her second dad. And you feel everything. You feel her loss because she's really grieving losing her grandfather, even though it was 12 years ago, and you feel that. And this book is talking about that, how it's been 12 years, but it feels like it's been yesterday. And this idea of leaving this world. And this book asks questions about what you leave behind in the world and the stuff you forget to do and the regrets, and can you take on other people's regrets. But also, I think the best commentary it has is this idea about community, how you can live in New York City and be so lonely. You can be around a lot of people and be so lonely. How this character seems the most at peace when she's around people who are dying than she is around people who are living. And it's so good and it's so thoughtful. This book is so much more than I thought it was going to be. The writing on this is brilliant. The writing in this is some of the best writing I have read all year, because it just, the effect that the author wants to have, it's doing it so well. They're doing it so well. So I'm enjoying this book, needless to say. And I think I'm going to keep on enjoying this book. So I'm on page 100, got 200 pages left, and so I think I'm gonna just sit down like right now and read it. And the next time I see you guys will be to wrap up the video and to give you my final thoughts on this book. Okay, you guys. Peace. Hello, you guys. I am here to wrap this video up. I'm in my office. I have finished The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Brammer. I'm going to give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. The reason why it lost half a star is I think the romance element of this book is really, really weak. It's kind of like shoehorned in here for me. I don't think it's as thoughtful as the rest of the book because I think the rest, everything else going on in this book is so well done and so thoughtfully done. And as someone who constantly has conversations with myself about what this book talks about, it really helped me like move through a lot of my own thoughts. There's this really touching part about our main character and her grandfather. There's this touching part about her. She's like giving care to this woman who is dying. And there's a love story with one of the women who's dying and someone from her past that's really, really well done. This idea about living life. And my favorite thing about this book is as we grow up and we like are in relationships with people, whether it be family, whether it be friends or romantic partners, we constantly see the people who we interact with or who we love just in the way that they serve us, who they are to us. And this idea of getting to know people outside of yourself, seeing them as full human beings. So instead of just seeing someone as your mom, seeing her as a woman, seeing your dad as a man, seeing your grandmother as a young person, like just experiencing people as they are fully in this. It's so thoughtfully done. I can go on and on. 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only thing I did not like about this book was the romance aspect of it. Like it annoyed me every time like it was like romance because I just thought this book had so much more to offer. And because we were dealing with the romance, and then this book also, I think, realizes the romance part is kind of weak as well because it doesn't even want to spend that much time doing it. It kind of feels like a thing that has to be in there. It doesn't need to be. So I'm really happy I chose to read this book. So these are the 4 books we read. I got all of these books from my local library. The first book that we read in this video was Look Closer. My biggest issue with this book is how long this book is, and I think if this book was sharper, there was some editing. I could have liked this book more, but this book uses a trope that I actually saw earlier this year, so I was kind of able to guess it, and also I found this book boring. I knew there was a major plot twist because there had to be, because it was so boring. And so it was 3.5 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed myself, but I could have enjoyed myself more, I think, with a shorter book. Anyways, but there was a detective element in that book that I did enjoy. The next book that we read was S.A. Cosby, All the Sinners Bleed. This book is not for everyone. I think most people on BookTube, Book Talk are not going to like this book because they never like books like this. These books are like the more serious, grounded, rugged thrillers. Like I like to call them like mom and like dad thrillers. Like that's what this is. This is like a dad thriller. The thing where I think Razorblade Tears was a dad thriller. Like this is just, I think S.A. Cosby writes dad thrillers, you know? And that's what this is. This is a dad mystery type of book, but I enjoyed myself. I really did. My favorite thing is S.A. Cosby's writing. I just enjoy being in S.A. Cosby's worlds that he creates. And so I enjoyed it for that element. So I'm going to give this book 3.75 out of 5 stars. The next book we have, y'all lied to me. Riley Sager, The Only One Left? No, this book is ridiculous, and I'm sorry, I don't like ridiculous thrillers. This is something about me. I think I've been saying this since I started my book channel. I do not like ridiculous thrillers. I do not like when an author of a thriller just throws stuff and throws stuff and throws stuff at me and expects me to keep on taking it just because it's unexpected. When are you going to give me a good story? That's how I just feel about all Riley Sager books. When is Riley Sager just going to write me a good story? He's just not. I don't like this book, and I can't believe so many people love this book. It's not me. It's not a Kenya thriller. I don't think it's written well. I don't think the characters are done well. I don't think the plot is anything new, or, I mean,
Colleen Hoover plays with this exact same thriller like type trope. So like I don't think any of it is well done. I'm like, and that's how I feel every time I leave a Riley Sager book, feeling like it's not well done. But that's just my opinion. A lot of people like this book, and so if you find anything interesting about it, I still think this is one of the best covers of the year. If I find this on discount, I still probably will get it because I like this cover so much, but it got to be on discount. But no, 3 out of 5 stars. 3 out of 5 stars because like I didn't want to kill myself reading this book, but I didn't have fun. It wasn't for me. Wasn't my type of thriller. 3 out of 5. The next thing we have is the last book, and I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars. Already talked about it. That is it. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you guys next week for another reading vlog.